Every day, something dramatic happens in the Caribbean that affects our lives. We'll give you the details. We'll give you the facts on Caribbean Perspective with Eddie Frederick. Here's Eddie Frederick.
So glad you can join us. Illicit 6 Jamaican parliamentarians are expected to be named by Integrity Commission soon. This story takes the lead in today's edition of Caribbean Perspective for Wednesday, 13 September 2023. Brought to you in association with our friends at Antillian Group. Details when we return.
Believe in our strength, we'll stand by you. Protection from all perils, big and small. Reassurance we give, it's so glad to see. Peace of mind, that's our service guarantee. We look after all our family. Yes, we do at every opportunity.
Antillian Group, underwriters of all classes of insurance solutions for your protection and investment. Live well financially.
Welcome back. Jamaica's Integrity Commission submits investigation report on alleged parliamentary asset discrepancies. Recent developments have cast a spotlight on the nation's legislative body following the tabling of the Integrity Commission's annual report in Parliament several weeks ago. The report has unearthed allegations of 6 parliamentarians possessing assets that cannot be accounted for by their lawful income. Details in this CVM Live report with Natalia Clark.
Amidst calls for the politicians accused of illicit enrichment to be named, it appears Jamaicans may get the answer sooner rather than later. The Integrity Commission on Monday says it has submitted to Parliament a report of investigation and an associated indicative ruling of its Director of Corruption Prosecution. And while the IC release doesn't state what matters are contained in these documents, weeks ago, in their annual report, the IC revealed the 6 members of Parliament have been referred to the Director of Investigation for illicit enrichment and or for submitting false information in their statutory declaration of income, assets, and liabilities. Illicit enrichment, as described by the Corruption Prevention Act, is owning assets disproportionate to one's lawful earnings. In essence, there could be a case of corruption. The Commission, in an attempt to be transparent, said the updated documents were received and signed for by Parliament around 10 a.m. on Monday. It's understood separate copies were addressed to Speaker of the House Marissa Dalrymple-Philibert, Deputy Speaker of the House Juliet Holness, President of the Senate Senator Tom Tavares Finson, and Clerk to the Houses of Parliament Valerie Curtis. As the tradition would dictate, these reports are expected to be tabled as soon as Parliament resumes, which is reportedly next week, September 19. Since news of the illicit 6 emerged, there has been much speculation about who they may be. Fingers have been pointed at Prime Minister Andrew Holness by critiques who've noticed his statutory declaration is yet to be certified by the IC. The Prime Minister and his government has since taken the position to not publicly address the matter. On the other hand, President of the opposition People's National Party, Mark Golding, has declared he nor any of his party members have been contacted by the IC. The hot topic has even spilled over into matters pertaining to the Director of Public Prosecution, Paula Llewellyn, and the government extending the office's retirement age to 65. The opposition has suggested this was done so the ruling party can maintain influence on the investigation into the illicit 6. Will the nation get the answers it seeks? We'll see in a week. Natalia Clark for CVM News.
ZNS News reports on Haiti Eminent Persons Group update.
CARICOM's Eminent Persons Group today left Haiti after several days of discussions on its ongoing socioeconomic and political situation. According to a recent United Nations report, violence in Haiti during the second quarter of this year jumped nearly 14% compared to the first quarter. And this as the island's capital, Port-au-Prince, continues to be largely controlled by gangs. The 3-man EPG, which counts former Prime Minister the Right Honorable Perry Christie as a member, has been tasked with finding a political compromise that would lead to the country's stabilization, paving way for elections. So far, the group has spoken with a cross-section of Haiti's population, representative groups, the United Nations, and other stakeholders in the United States and Canada, it's been suggested that the EPG submit a document to stakeholders that focuses on the balance of power, the inclusion, and the responsibility of the High Transitional Council.
The U.S. Embassy in the Bahamas issued firearms warning to U.S. citizens visiting the Bahamas.
A bid to keep its citizens on the right side of the law and avoiding arrest for bringing firearms or ammunition into the country, the United States Embassy here in the Bahamas has another advisory, this one an update to the travel.state.gov Bahamas page to reflect the criminal penalties attached to traveling unlawfully with such weapons. The information is found under the Local Laws and Special Circumstances tab, and it states firearms and ammunition and other weapons are not permitted in the Bahamas. U.S. Embassy Nassau wishes to advise its traveling citizens that declaring a weapon in your luggage with an airline carrier does not grant permission to bring the weapon into the Bahamas and may result in arrest. If a U.S. citizen illegally brings a firearm or ammunition into the Bahamas, U.S. Embassy Nassau will not be able to secure their release from custody. The website reminds U.S. citizens that all foreign nationals are subject to Bahamian law and must follow local enforcement procedures. However, if you are arrested or detained, ask police or prison officials to notify the U.S. Embassy immediately.
You're listening to Caribbean Perspective with Eddie Frederick,
in association with our friends at
Antillean Group, underwriters of all classes of insurance solutions for your protection and investment. Live well financially.
A former police commissioner of St. Lucia, Severin Marchery, said that St. Lucia has the wherewithal to appoint a top cop from within. He believes that there is no need to look outside of St. Lucia for a new police commissioner.
Former Police Commissioner Severin Marchery argues that St. Lucia has the necessary resources to appoint a top cop from within the country. He said that there is no need to look outside of St. Lucia for a new police commissioner. The ex-police chief made the remarks during a call into the Midday Newsspin program.
I think we have the resources here, and I don't think we need to go beyond right now. Mm-hmm. We have sufficient resources within the organization and within St. Lucia.
Marchery acknowledged that some polishing may be needed, but he believes that the RSLPF has the capacity to train its own top cop. He also reveals that he had prepared a succession plan for the RSLPF during the reign of the previous administration.
During the time I was at the Prime Minister's office, part of my job description was to prepare succession plan, which I prepared. I also prepared, we had a detailed manpower audit. We also did assessment of the police station, all police stations, unit and department, and I submitted that document along with the manpower audit saying how many officers should be, the proposed numbers that should be at our station, along with a succession plan. I must also say that it is sometimes difficult, even if you have the succession plan, to really stick to it. Because when you are going to choose a commissioner of police, what normally happens is that the position is advertised. And when the position is advertised, people will apply for the position.
The former top cop's comments came after the reappointment of Cressida Descartes-Pellews as police commissioner for 1 year. Descartes-Pellews had proceeded on retirement leave in June 2023 after becoming St. Lucia's first confirmed female top cop in 2022.
So, whereas there was a succession plan, there was a training component to that succession plan. With Leahy around, we had to use certain funds we had to prioritize our training, especially in relation to Marine Unit and the Special Services Unit. So, to have the succession plan, there must be a training component. I can tell you there is a succession plan. I prepared a succession plan. I can make a copy of it available to you or to anyone who wants it. I have the copy of that succession plan, along with the training needs to accompany that succession plan.
So you say that plan was not implemented by the previous administration?
Well, I will not say it was not implemented by them, because by the time it was prepared, it was close to election time, and then administration changed.
Prime Minister Philip J. Pierre welcomed Descott Pelleus's return to the RSLPF, saying that her tenure would pave the way for leadership training and a younger cadre of individuals at the helm of the force. He said that the Royal St. Lucia Police Force has capable young officers who need time to get the necessary training and experience. He said that the force will be under new, younger leadership after Descott Pelleus's one-year term is up. Joachim de Blasi, HTS News Force.
4 new independent senators took their oaths of office in the Parliament of Trinidad and Tobago on Monday during a ceremonial opening of the 4th session of the 12th Parliament. TTT News has more.
They are Professor of Psychiatry and Unit Lead in the Psychiatry Unit of the Faculty of Medical Sciences at the University of the West Indies St. Augustine, and the Head of the Department of Mental Health in the North Central Regional Health Authority, Professor Gerard A. Hutchinson. Career journalist and multimedia professional Suniti Miraj, Dr. Shada Patasa, a multidisciplinary artist with a strong background in teaching, research and writing, and music composition. Calypso Monarch 2018 Young King and Song of the Year winner 2016, Helon Francis. Mr. Francis will be the youngest independent senator in the current parliament. The president thanked the outgoing senators Amrita Deonarine, Dr. Varma Dayal Singh, Sharice C. Prasad, and Evans Welch for their dedicated and unstinting service as former independent senators.
In the meantime, Prime Minister of Trinidad and Tobago, Dr. Keith Rowley, said government continues to do what is necessary, saying the key to collaboration to dealing with crime is the opposition. More in this TTT News item.
He criticized the opposition for their stance in the previous parliamentary year for openly stating that they were not supporting any legislation brought by the government.
We've had people declare their position that they will not support anything that the government brings. And it's one thing to say that, but to act upon it is another thing. But we have a new president, it's a new parliament. There are new and worsening situations in the country which require Parliament's intervention. And we at the level of the government, we will keep trying in the Parliament to encourage our colleagues to put country first.
Questioned if he believes the opposition would change its stance in the coming year, Dr. Rowley said it is left to be seen.
When I saw today a member of Parliament attempting to insult the President in the chamber, while she's addressing the nation, I don't see that change. I would like to see it, but there are members of Parliament who, as far as I'm concerned, are not prepared to see beyond what they believe is their prospect in the next election.
I am Eddie Frederick. This has been Caribbean Perspective, a whole new approach to highlighting developments in the Caribbean.
In the meantime, please follow us on Facebook and subscribe to our YouTube channel for daily regional news and more, in association with our friends at Antillian Group.
Believe in our strength, we'll stand by you. Protection from all perils, big and small. Reassurance we give, it's so clear to see. Peace of mind, that's a service guarantee. We look after all our family. Yes, we do at every opportunity.
Antillian Group, underwriters of all classes of insurance solutions for your protection and investment. Live well financially.